Hello again, everyone. Thank you for staying on to our second part of the mooncake celebration. Now, I'd like to now introduce you to Lily Gia, who will show us how to make mooncakes in just under an hour.
Everybody, welcome to CAV's mooncake workshop. I say it's a bit late for us to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival, but hey, with this beautiful spring, we're celebrating the Spring Festival. Okay, so today we're making mooncakes two ways. Okay, we're doing the traditional baked version, and we're doing the new trendy snow skin version. Okay, let's get started. Well, actually, before I start the cooking session, I want to mention quickly that overnight we had a sponsor came on board because I'm using their products for our mooncakes, and they came on board and they actually offered a special for all CAV members that would like to take it on. So we've got 100% pandan powder, we've got the blue pea powder, and also the blue pea tea. Okay, you can purchase any of those products from www.mybluetea.com.au, and all this information is on the CAV website. And if you use the CAV code, which is CAV20, you'll get a 20% discount. And if you order $69 worth of goodies, you actually get a free delivery on top of that as well. So check out the link. The CAV link for the special. Okay, let's get started cooking. Okay, what we're going to do first, we're going to make the snow skin first, because that needs to rest in the fridge for about 30 minutes before we go. So I've got two types of flour here. We've got the glutinous rice flour and plain rice flour. Okay, and we've got we're using icing sugar as well. So let's put it all together. And what we're going to do is, all we're doing together is blending it. Now you'll find the recipe on the CAV website as well. I'm just going to put all that behind me to clear some space. Okay, and make sure at this point you whisk through everything really well. Now what we're going to do, I'm actually going to cook this the dough in the microwave, because it takes about 5 minutes to cook in the microwave. If you are doing this, if you prefer not to use the microwave, you can actually steam this for between, say, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm just making sure that's done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with a bit of colour today. I'm going to use the blue pea powder, and you can see we're just going to add it straight into our mix. Now, because it's actually 100% natural colours, you just want to start off using a small bit. I did some a couple of weeks ago, and I used half a teaspoon for this mixture, and it came out really quite dark blue. So I'm going to use maybe slightly less this time, and I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon just to give it maybe a slightly lighter blue. And with this powder, you know, if you add certain other stuff to it, like lemon juice, it will change colour. And if you say add spinach juice, it will change colour again. It's all the chemical compounds in it, which I'm not familiar with. Okay, so we're just going to mix that through. And now I'm actually using here coconut milk. So we've got about 210 mils of coconut milk. We're just going to stir that through. Now again, what you'll find that everything depends on what you use. Okay, so even with coconut milk, depending on the brand you use, it will give you a different outcome. So treat the recipe as a guide only, and play with it to get the best results for yourself. Okay, so it's all done. Just making sure I'm removing all the lumps there. And we're going to pop that in the microwave for 5 minutes, but what I'll do is I'll pop that in for 3 minutes first, okay? And what we'll do is after the 3 minutes, we will turn it around, knead it a little bit, pop it back for 2 minutes and make sure it's cooked through. Now, whilst I was waiting for the segment to start, I actually toasted here some glutinous rice. Okay, so that's what it is with that. That's cooked now, and what we'll do is we'll use it to brush the outside of the mooncakes so that they don't stick together. So that's ready to go. And whilst we're waiting for everything else to happen, excuse me, I'm just going to clear my mess as we go. We're going to start on, okay, preparing the mixture. So we can do this. Now with the mixture, we are doing the nutty one. Okay, so this is all the ingredients I have for the nutty mixture. Let me just, because I need to use my wok. So I'm just going to remove those flour from my wok first. Now, I'm actually quite a lazy cook. So what happened is everything I do, plus also I teach NDIS participants to cook. So there are people with disabilities to cook. So all my recipes, I'm going to make them really simple and less work for everybody. So you can see I've toasted my rice and I'm going to use this stand pan. Just wipe it down. And what I'm going to do, firstly, I'm going to chop up my Chinese sausage very quickly. Excuse me, I'll show you. So rather than cooking it for 20 minutes, and then putting it in the mooncake, I'll show you how to actually hasten the process. Just quickly chop it up. And we're going to cook everything in the one fry pan. Make sure you chop it up really nice and fine so that everybody gets a bit of that Chinese sausage, the savoury flavour in the nut mix. I'll just quickly, what I'll do, just run my knife through the rest of it, just to chop it up, okay? And what we're going to do now, we're going to pop it in our fry pan, and to that we're going to add a couple of tablespoons of water to basically soften it first, and then we're going to fry it off. Pop that in. Okay, now I've got it on low heat at the moment, but what I'll do is I'll put some water. Like I said, we're going to pop in there a couple of tablespoons so that it's going to help cook the sausage. So we're multitasking to make sure that the mooncakes will be done by the time you finish shopping. So if you were to go out to buy mooncakes, you may just have this ready by the time the person is going out there to get the mooncakes. You'll have them ready. Okay, so what happened is by the time the liquid evaporates, the sausage is actually quite cooked. Okay, that's what we want. Now, okay, so because we're multitasking, I'm going to make sure my camera runs around with me. So we had that cooking for about 3 minutes. So you want to take it out, just turn it over, mix it through, and we're going to pop it back in there for another 2 minutes just to make sure it's really cooked through. You can see the lovely blue color there. Okay, so rather than using artificial coloring, this is now the way to go. And apparently with the blue pea powder, they've got medicinal values in there, benefits in there, but I'm not sure what they are exactly, but you can look that up if you're interested. Okay, so that's going to go back in the microwave for another 2 minutes. Okay, So I'm going to turn this back up and to dry that off. So now, whilst that's happening, okay, I had my mandarin peel, I had that soaking away to rehydrate. So we're going to chop that up as well. And it's basically throwing everything together at the end of the day to make it work. Now, like I said, the recipe, it's a very simple recipe. I've taken all the hard work out of this recipe so that you can actually do it without sweating too much, okay? So that's done. I've got here some candied ginger, which I'm chopping up as well. Now when I'm cutting with gloves on, I'm actually very careful because you are not as sensitive to the knife with the extra layer of protection, so I've got to be very careful that I'm not putting my finger at risk. Okay, so we're going to chop that up as well. Now, okay, so that's done. Push that aside. Now I've got here, so our nutty mixture is not just nuts, it's got a whole lot of goodness in this recipe. Okay, this is something I picked up from Aldi. And what you can see what I've got here, we've got sultanas, we've got goji berries, we've got coconut, we've got sultanas and cranberries. Okay, so all this goodness is going to go into our mix. Now, just want to quickly show you that that's all dried up. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put in our sesame, our seeds there, just to toast it. So whilst that's happening, we're just going to continue chopping up the rest of the other ingredients here. So mooncakes, as you know, there's quite a bit of preservatives in the mooncakes. That the commercial ones you buy, they make them so, you know, long way in advance before the mooncake the Lenten festival, and it sits there for so long, so you don't really know what's in there. When you're making your own stuff, you know exactly what you're putting in there, and the whole idea is to eat for our better health and well-being. Okay, so I'm just briefly chopping up our ingredients here. Now you can actually run that through your blender if you want to, but I didn't want to bring my whole kitchen along today, so, and I can hear the microwave going, telling me it's ready to jump out, so I just want to quickly finish this off. Okay, so that's, you can smell the sesame now, ready to come off the heat. I'm just going to leave that in there for a couple more seconds while I finish chopping this up. So the recipe, like I said, you can use this as a guide. If you don't like the fruits, the dry fruits there, you might just want to use nuts only. Okay, adjust the recipe a little bit just to use nuts only, but on that basis, if you're using nuts only, you might have to add extra moisture to it, because we're using the fruits in this packet as a binding agent for our mixture to reduce the sugar and the syrup and the fat. Okay? I think this is pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly throw this into there's some big pieces of nuts there. Just want to chop them up. Okay, I think this is pretty good now. If you're lucky, you get more nuts in the whole nuts in your mooncake, okay? Okay, I think this is pretty good. So we're going to throw all that into our fry pan. So what we're doing is heating up the fruits in there as well to soften them, so that when we mix them, it's easier to combine everything. we're just going to gently heat it through. Now, like I said, the dough in the microwave, it's now ready to come out. So whilst that's happening, we'll take our snow skin dough out of the microwave. Okay, excuse me if you don't mind, I'll just quickly clean this up. I'm making a big mess out of my bench already. Okay, so what we'll do, okay, this is what it looks like. It's a clump of basically sticky dough. Now, you will need to make sure you wear gloves when you're making this, because otherwise it'll stick to your hands. Or alternatively, you can rub some oil onto your hands, but you'll find that you're constantly having to do that. So just make sure at this point you combine everything really well together. And what I normally do in this situation is I put it in a zip bag and I pop it in the fridge. So that can actually, stay in the fridge for as long as it needs for it to cool down. But what I'm doing today, I'm just going to leave it in my bowl and I'll put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes or until we get ready to make our mooncakes. Okay, now coming back to our nutty mixture. Okay, so everything is now, it smells really good here. I hope you can, we've got smell, what's it called? Smell-o-vision or something like that. Yeah, I wish you can smell it over at your end. Okay, so we've got the sweet and savoury in there. And to that we're going to add some of that toasted rice powder, the sticky rice, the glutinous rice powder. Stir that through. Now, we're making little mooncakes today, so it only takes maximum about 12-15 minutes to cook. So everything is it's really cooked. It's a matter of heating up the skin, and that's it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add to that some syrup. Now, I'm using golden prepared syrup, okay, which I got from Aldi. By the way, I'm not doing an ad for Aldi. I just thought I went shopping and they've got everything there. So we're using that. And to that, we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of this syrup. Now, traditionally, if you're making mooncakes at home, you've got to cook your syrup about 6 months in advance to let it age. Time that we don't have. So I'm just using this syrup. It works actually perfectly well. Okay, so, and we're just adding about 3 tablespoons. Now you can use honey if you like, okay, if for health reasons. So 3 tablespoons. I reckon with the golden syrup, I'm sure it's been sitting around for more than 6 months, surely. So that's why I thought I'll use like I said, I'm a lazy cook. And it's time that I don't have to cook syrup 6 months in advance. Okay, so I've got 3 tablespoons there. Now, it's only a guide. Okay, if you like your mooncake sweeter, you can actually add more. And to that, we're going to add also 3 tablespoons of peanut oil. Okay, you can use other canola oil or whatever oil you like. But I just like the nutty flavour in our mooncakes, so I'm using peanut. Okay, and all we're doing then is basically mixing everything through, and you'll find that the nutty mixture is done. Now, there are, like I said, there are loads and loads of different recipes, different ways of doing it, but this is my quick, simple way of putting your mooncakes together, and it's a healthy version. Okay, so it's a matter of now mixing everything together, and you can see the beautiful colours that we've got here, and that's going to go into our mooncakes. Just making sure everything sticks. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the traditional mooncake skin, and then we're ready to wrap. Okay, so just quickly, this is where I'm going to get my fingers dirty, okay, just to make sure we combine everything through. It is not really that hot, and plus I've got the protection of the gloves, so, but if you're worried about it, just spread it out a little bit on a cooler tray or something, just to help you cool it down a little bit. Just want to make sure the syrup and the oil and all that combines really well together. Okay, and we're going to just put that aside now to cool down. What I'll do, actually I don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to let it cool there while we go ahead and get our traditional pastry ready. Okay, so you can see, now one good way of testing whether it's going to stick is by, now this may be a bit dry for me at the moment, so I'm going to take this opportunity to add a little bit of water, okay? So remember what I say, the recipe is only a guide, okay? So you need to make sure you look at it and use your own judgment. Just to make sure it works for you. You want the mixture to combine into a little ball when you squeeze it together, okay? Now, if I find that it's not sticking as much, it's maybe because I'm missing a bit of that sticky rice flour. In that case, I'll need to add a bit to it, okay? And that's what I might just do now. Where is my sticky rice flour gone? Somewhere. Over there. So I'm just going to grab some. But it's still hot, so we'll just let it cool down, and it should be able to stick together in due course, okay? Okay. Now, so we've got two things done now. We've got the pastry done, the snow skin pastry done, we've got the filling done. We're just going to go on now make the mooncake skin, and then we'll get wrapping. Okay, I'm just going to quickly clean up my kitchen first.
One, go.
Thanks for your patience, guys. I just have to clean up my bench. Okay, so the next component we're doing now, we're doing the traditional mooncake skin. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to mix the liquid together, the wet ingredients, and to that I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of peanut oil into my bowl. And what we're going to do then is I'm going to use 2 egg yolks. Now, I'm actually using egg yolks because there's more fat in the egg yolk than the white. So it is a bit rich at the moment, but it's okay. We don't eat mooncakes every day of the week, so it's only once a year. So it's okay to have a little bit of richness. Okay, so what we'll do is now we're just going to add the syrup to that. So by mixing the wet ingredients together first, it makes it much easier for us to then mix the dough together. Otherwise we might have lumps of syrup stuck together. Now if you've got a food processor, you can actually, it might be easier if you just put it through your food processor, just to blitz it together. But I just thought I'll show you how simple it is just using your hand whisk, your hand to do this. Okay, so we've got everything combined and we're now adding our flour to it. Now again, the moisture will, what I'm going to suggest to you is keep an eye on how it comes through. How much moisture we add to the mixture would depend on the flour. Some flour that's been sitting out for too long may need a bit more liquid. In that case, you just add a teaspoon of water at a time. If it's too wet, you just add a teaspoon of flour to it at a time. Right? I think I've got the right consistency here. And I just wanted to get it off my whisk here, and I'm going to turn that into a smooth dough. Okay, see how it's versatile is having your gloves on. It just basically takes you everywhere with this recipe. So what you want to do is turn that, mix that through. To a nice smooth dough. It doesn't need a lot of kneading, just as long as you make sure you got everything together. Okay, now I have, so this is my dough. I have one here that's been sitting overnight, and it's actually matured a little bit, okay? And you can see that it's actually, the texture, the color, it's different slightly. Okay, so we're gonna venture into our mooncake making now. Firstly, before we start on actually rolling out the dough, we need to make sure our mixture, organize our mixtures first, the filling. So what I normally do is, I'm using the small mooncake molds, okay, because they take only about 10 to 15 minutes to cook. And where's those traditional, I'll show you the traditional ones we use. Those ones, they could take up to about 45 minutes to cook. And again, it's time that we don't have. And I find those bigger ones, it's just too hard to enjoy on your own. Whereas the little ones, you can just have a cup of tea and just, you know, chomp into the whole one. So we're making those about 50 gram mooncakes we're doing. So ideally, it would be advisable to get a scale. Okay, so about 25 grams in mixture. If it's about, 25, 26, it doesn't really matter. Okay, hang on. Normally what I do is I use a spoon. Let me just grab my spoon, because then that way, that gives me kind of an idea of how much I get. Okay, that's about 25. Okay, so you want to work on about 25. So just press it together to get a round ball. Oops, hang on, let me just take a bit out of that one. Now I could have chopped up my fruits and nuts a bit more. I was rushing because of the time frame we have, but if you're doing this yourself, just make sure you chop the nuts and the fruits and all that a bit finer, okay? So I'm just going to make about 5 of each one. So make sure you weigh up everything, it's important. Otherwise you're going to have mooncakes with different sizes. Now if you're using these slightly bigger molds, which I don't have with me, you can do up to 35 grams or 40 grams, whatever you like. So whatever mold you've got, you just make it to suit. So got 5 of those ones. And I'm going to use a bit of another flavor, another filling that I've made overnight. Just let me get a couple more of this on its way. Okay, so I've got 6 of those ones. Now, what I've got here, just going to quickly wash my hands first. I've made some red bean overnight. Just to show you, you can actually buy the red beans already, the filling in the packet, okay? Or my friend Shirley, of course, our CAV vice president here, she's made some red bean as well, paste. So there are 2 different versions here, and what I want to show you is that my version is basically, I cooked my red bean until it basically softens and evaporated so it's dry. And what I did was I put it through the food processor, blitzed it with a bit of butter and a bit of syrup. That's all I did with mine. So there's no preservatives or anything in there, no oil, or there's a bit of butter, but there's hardly any fats in mine. Whereas with Shirley's one is done the traditional way, where she cooked the red bean until it's soft, she blitzed it until it's pulverized, and then she fried it off with syrup and oil. So you can see her consistency is much finer than mine. Okay, so what I might do is I'll try and do mooncakes with a bit of that feeling as well, and see how we go. So see, mine is just red bean, and you can see in fact the texture is quite rough because the red bean is still kind of not 100% pulverized, cooked through. So let me just quickly weigh that up. Okay, and again, all your fillings, you want to just turn that into a round ball. Okay, so we're just going to quickly do this one as well. Maybe we'll do 3 of each. Now, when I use mine with the butter, I actually use salted butter because it's got a, that cuts into the sweetness. So this may be a bit moist. I will just try one of this one. Okay, and I might just do a couple more of this one because it's firmer. It's been refrigerated overnight, so, and because of the butter in it, that's why I use butter, because it holds its shape without any extra ingredients in there. Okay, I think we're pretty good to go. Now, I've actually also prepared overnight some pandan snow skin pastry as well. So we're going to make a number of different types of mooncake. So with the pandan, I used the pandan powder from my blue tea, and I used about half a teaspoon of powder in my snow skin mix. Okay, I'm just going to take all this away now, and we're going to start working on the actual mooncakes. Actually, I do need my scale back simply because I need to weigh the dough. Okay, so I think that's why it's so important to have your own scale. And we'll just quickly wash my hands. Okay. The rest is pretty easy to do. Just get my plate. Got some blue tea powder there stuck, so I'll just take that off. Okay. So what we're going to do first, we're going to do the traditional one first because we're going to bake them off in the oven. And to that, I'm going to use 2 types of dough just to show you that one that I prepared earlier and one I prepared overnight. Okay, so 25 grams of dough the same way. Okay, and what you do is roll that into a ball. Okay, and flatten it. If you want to, just keep it in your hand. I think it's probably better if we do it this way. Sorry, made a mess. Let's start again. So roll that into a ball. That's why it needs to be refrigerated a little bit to firm up, but this one I haven't refrigerated. So what you do is you flatten it, and you put your mixture in there, and what you want to do is basically work your pastry around the filling to fit that in, okay? And what you want to do is then roll it into a ball. Now, this is why we have the cooked prepared powder, okay? What we do is we brush it. And what I've got here, I've got some paper. You can actually cut up some baking paper, or you can use those little cupcake pans. Okay, let me just get this out. You've got to flatten it, something I should have prepared earlier, but I didn't. Okay, so what we do is you want to mold this up so that it fits inside your mooncake press. Okay. Now you press it a few times to make sure the imprint gets on there. And then what you do is you pop it, Actually, in this case, okay, it's a bit stuck there. Let me just get it out. There you go. This is our mooncake number 1. That will go on the baking tray in a minute. Okay, we'll do a couple more. So I'll use the dough that I made last night, just to show you again. So this is what this one's been rested overnight. It's easier to handle because it's much firmer. So if you just, even if you pop it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, again, just round it off and flatten it. You want the outer part to be thinner than the middle part, okay? Because we're going to wrap all that towards the middle at the end. Okay, so let's pop a filling in there. And what we're going to do, slowly, it will work. It just takes a bit of patience to get all that dough wrapped, push all that dough into the middle. Okay, and then again, what we do is we brush it with a bit of that powder. Now, if you don't want to use the powder, you can actually spray it with oil. I'm going to do the next one with oil just to show you that I've done it with spraying with oil. So, round that up, pop that so that it fits into the mooncake mold. Okay. Put a piece of paper underneath it, press it, and then push it out. So this is how simple it is. Okay, we'll just do one more, and this time I'm going to use this slightly bigger mold. So this one's slightly bigger, I think. I might just do 30 grams of dough. Okay, so again, smooth it out, round it up, press it out. Okay, that's what we do. And then what I'll do with this one, I might just use a red bean. And again, you want to work your dough up to and close the filling. When you get to the end bit, you just basically press it all together. Okay, and again, now at this with this one, I'm not going to use the powder. What I do is I'm going to use my, excuse me, just stay there for 2 seconds. I've got some oil spray here. So what I do is I'll spray that into the mold, just to make sure it's coated. And this time, because we're using a square one, you want to just make sure it gets into that square. Okay, press that in. And thanks to Shirley for lending me this square one. Press it down, and let's see how we go with this one. So this one, you can see it's slightly different. It's got a glossier outlook, and so it depends on whether you don't mind. If you don't mind a bit of extra grease on it, a bit extra fat, that's what you do. I might just do another one quickly, and then what we'll do is we'll pop those in the oven, and then I'll show you how to finish off with the snow skin. Okay. So it's not hard at all. It's quite simple, in fact. But like the only thing is you find that the dough is slightly different to the ones you buy commercially. I'm not using any alkaline water, or they call it lye water or limestone water. Okay, we're just using the goodness from our pantry and from our fridge. I'll just do another one quickly here, and again just to show you that we push it all together at the end. And I might just brush this one, just to give you a different outlook to see the difference between brushed and not. Okay, just press that in, make sure that it fits perfectly. Press it down a few times to make sure the imprint gets onto the mooncake. And there you go. So you can see this is slightly different where the oil is there. So it's a matter of playing around with your mooncakes just to see what you prefer. Okay, so we're just going to pop them on a baking tray now. I'm going to pop them in the oven. Now I've got the oven actually preheating at 170 at the moment. Okay. So you want the oven to be preheated at 170. And what we're going to do now, excuse me, my glove is, better put another pair of gloves on. What we're going to do is we're going to brush it with a bit of egg wash, okay? With the egg wash, I've got here, I've prepared some, just water. I've just put an egg yolk in there and just water at the moment. I need to combine that together. Now, with the egg wash, just be very careful when you're brushing that onto your the mooncakes. If you just brush it on, you're going to get a blob of egg wash on your mooncakes, and they're quite delicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my fingers to brush it on. And I'll tell you why I'm actually wearing extra small gloves, because I want to be able to feel what I'm doing. Okay, so make sure you combine that really well together. That's something I should have done earlier, but okay. And what we're going to do is I'm just, like I said, I'm using my fingers to do it, simply because then I can feel gently, oops, let me just do this, gently rub it on top, so there's no big blotch of egg wash on the mooncake. Okay, that's what we do. Again with this one, even with your hand, you may just get a blotch on it as well. Okay. I find cooking is therapy, baking is fun. So I just spend all day in the kitchen playing with this. And you see why I'm just taking extra time to do this. See, if you're not careful, you can quickly cover the imprints. So, okay, one more. Now, before we pop it in the oven, we want to make sure we spray it with a bit of water, okay, to keep it moist and to keep it from cracking. So that's what we do. We're just going to spray our tray with water, or you can actually spray it into your oven if you want to, the bottom one. Spray a bit more water in there just to keep it a bit moist. Now what you want to do is you want to bake that for about 10 minutes, okay? So I'm going to set my alarm for 10 minutes, and then we'll get cooking with the snow skin one. Okay, so I've got those mooncakes in the oven now baking. So while that's baking, we're going to do the snow skin ones. Now the purple one, okay, the blue pea one, that's been sitting in the fridge now for about half an hour. Okay, so we're just going to take that out. Okay, where is my other? That's all right. I'll just get this one. It's firmed up a lot, you can see. Whereas before it was quite soft and sticky. Okay, and it's relatively easy from here because it's cooked already. Okay, so what we're going to do now, again, we rely on the scale. We're going to use about 25 grams of the mixture. That's about 20. Now I did one with, less skin, and my taste testers said, oh, they prefer more skin. So what you do is, again, it's something you can play with. So once you've got your dough, what you want to do is you want to stretch it, smoothen it up, and bring all the outer parts into the middle. just to get a really nice smooth dough, okay? And then all you're doing is pressing it with your fingers, okay? It's a bit like mochi, except it's not as soft as mochi, and it's a beautiful, because of the coconut flavors in there, it's actually quite a lovely dough. So what we're going to do now is, again, the same way that we did use with the last pastries we did, the traditional pastry. You basically stretch the outer part to enclose the filling bit by bit to make sure it stretches out. And then when you get to the end bit, you just basically press it together to enclose that bit. Okay. Okay. Now say you've got a little bit of a hole there, what you can do is just pinch a little bit of that dough, press it over the top, okay? And what we're going to do now, again, we call onto this magic powder, brush that powder on it, because then that way it won't stick to the mold, okay? Round it off like what we did with the last one. And we're going to press that into the mold with paper on the bottom. Press it down a few times to get the imprint on it. And then here comes the moon cake. There you go. That's our purple. Now what happens is once it sets a little bit, the color will change slightly. Okay, so I'm just going to do another one. What you can do is with the snow skin mixture, the flour mixture, once you mix it all together, you can divide that in half, and you can do half pandan and half blue pea if you want, just to give yourself an extra kind of option. Okay, again what we do is we flatten the whole dough out. Now if you try to use a rolling pin to do this, you want to make sure the rolling pin is covered with oil, otherwise it will stick. Okay, so I'm just going to do here now a red bean one, and again what we're doing is basically stretching the outer part into the middle to cover the end bit there. Okay, roll that up, and because the flour is cooked already, it's fine to brush that on. So with the flour, what I did was I toasted that over in a fry pan for about 5 minutes on very low heat, and you can actually smell it when it's cooked. Okay, so we press that down. Now, so that's our mooncake number 2. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I might just cover this up, and what I'll do is I'll do a couple of green ones that I prepared overnight. Okay, now before I even do the green one, can I just quickly get you to come a bit closer? You see the 2 different types of dough there? I use 2 different types of coconut milk. So you can see, depending on what sort of coconut milk you use, it will give you kind of a different texture, kind of different color as well. So just play around with, you know, the different types that you normally use, and work out the best one you prefer. Okay, so I'm just going to do, I was saying I'm doing a pandan one. So let's start with a pandan one. So I'm working on about 26 grams with my dough. Okay, and again what you do, the same thing we do, once you get the hang of it, the rest is pretty easy. So press it out. Now, because we're not using any preservatives in our mooncakes, I would suggest perhaps you keep everything in your fridge, refrigerate everything, and And keep, you know, I don't suggest that you keep it for too long either, perhaps for maybe a maximum of a week, because we're not using anything. Okay, that's my alarm going off. So I'm going to let me finish this quickly. Let me just quickly turn my alarm off. Okay, I'm going to brush this one as well. I might just do the square ones in this case. In that case, when you're doing a square one, just make sure you square up your pastry. Now, I'm detecting a couple of holes in my pastry, so I'm just going to mend it up, patch it up, okay, before I press it down, because otherwise what you'll find is that you're going to find a hole there. Okay, square it up, put it in the mold, the shape, just press it down. And we're going to put pressure on it. There you go. Now, so that's our pandan one. What I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to check on those mooncakes in the oven. Now those mooncakes are ready to come out of the oven. We're just going to put them out. Okay, there you go. You can see different size, different shapes. They all come out slightly different. Okay, so you need to look at your temperature and adjust it accordingly. What I might do is I might just push them all onto this plate, just so that we've got a whole range of mooncakes to share. And now with the baked ones, you want to cool them down and rest them for at least 24 hours, just so that they all kind of all the flavors come through before you start chopping them up. So one more thing I was doing prior to the alarm going off, okay, I was actually in the middle of making the snow skin one. So let's press that out. See what we're going to get out of this one. Oops. Now I pressed it a bit too hard, I think, and it's sunk right in. Let me just stretch it out. Okay, there you go. That's that one. Okay, we're going to do another one, but this time I might just do, what I'll do is this time I'm going to combine two colors with that one. I'm going to use half green. So that's about 12 grams of white. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use those two colors to slightly play with this different. Just want to show you, you can actually start playing. Once you know how to make this, you can start playing with it. We'll turn it into half-half. Okay. Okay, so we've got half a white, half a green happening there. And what we'll do again, we'll dust it. Okay, so that should be all right now. So there you go, you've got a two different color one. Okay, and what I'll do is, whilst I've got my our cameraman still working hard, we might just do another one with the half white and half purple. How's that? Okay, so cooking is all about playing with food. When you start having fun, you just want to be in the kitchen all the time. So this is what we're doing. We're having a bit of fun. I'll just grab a bit of that blue colored dough. Okay, we're going to combine the two together. to make it into a half color. Smooth that down. And basically wrap that filling around it. And pretty much we are ready to serve, get our tea ready. Okay, so we've got 2 colours there, that looks good, really good. Brush it with a bit of that flour again. That's it. There you go. Just want to make sure that half that white comes through. So we've got half purple, half white. Okay, and that's, there you go. How is that? Actually, I might take some of those out from there and we'll pop those 2 on there. So we're ready for our morning tea, afternoon tea, any time of the day kind of snack. Okay, well, I hope you guys found that interesting and easy to make. And what we're going to do actually today, we're going to have a bit of a challenge. Okay, I've got 3 sets of blue tea flour. We've got blue pea flour, I should say. A packet of 3 sets of pandan powder and 3 sets of blue butterfly pea powder. We're going to do a challenge. Any members that are actually going to make some mooncakes, okay, and then take a photo of it and pop it under our the website, the CAV website. The first 3 that actually are going to take up the challenge will win a set of each, okay? But the challenge is this: you've got to make the mooncakes and you've got to make sure you hashtag CAV220 mooncake workshop, because we want to make sure that we are doing the actual mooncakes for the purpose of this workshop. So if you're doing it, the first 3 members that are going to make the mooncakes will win a set of these from CAV. Okay, thank you all for your time and patience, and thank you CAV for having me along to do this workshop with you all. Please, if you've got any questions, you can actually pop it into the chat line below, because this will be brought to you live via Zoom. And then what I'll do is I'll come through and answer some of these questions. If you've got any questions at all, even after the event, you want to contact me, you can find me at the Food Affectionist site on Facebook or on my website. But in the meantime, please take advantage of this special deal. It's only one time only, and it will finish, I think, the end time will be advertised by CAV. So during this time, 1 member, 1 special deal only. So take advantage of it, and hopefully we'll see you again at the next workshop, cooking workshop. Thank you all. Bye.
Okay, I think everyone enjoyed that mooncake making. Lily, are you on? Lily? We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm here. I've just unmuted myself. Hello.
Okay.
Thank you,
Lily, it was amazing to see you make those beautiful mooncakes just under an hour. The colors are so inviting, and thank you to Lee Heng from my blue team, for sponsoring those gift packs. Lily, just a quick question for you.
Yes.
You have other mooncakes that you make with different colors, isn't it? We will show it at a bit later after. But also, Lee Heng from My Blue Tea has given us some extra packs. Would you like to explain to the audience about this?
With the extras, I think, thank you so much, My Blue Tea, Alex Lee, for coming along and sponsoring CAV's special event. Again, what it is that they pop into their website a special code that you must use if you want to take advantage of this order. So it's It's CAV 20. So when the code pops up, when you order, you check out. See, there's a code. It asks you to ask. Hang on. It's imprinted a code where you need to put in CAV 20, and when you do that, you'll get a 20% discount from my blue tea. Now, if you are going to order anything above $69 or more, you'll also get a free delivery that comes with it as well. So you're going to get two specials, right? Free delivery as well as the 20% off if you order $69 or more. And it's one order per family. So please take advantage of it. I'm not sure. I think this the special applies for when this whole finishes.
No.
And Shirley, can you
yeah, Lily, the offer actually expires at the end of November, 30th November. But I believe Lee also has given us some extra packs as a giveaway for those who can make this mooncake and show us a picture and put it on our website for us. So besides the 3 packets that we have, with another 5 packets that Lee Heng has offered to give it to us as a free gift. So all of you, please put on your apron and go out and make these mooncakes and show us what you can create.
Yeah. So just quickly, can I mention it's the 3 packets. It comes to, I think it comes to about $45-50. Is that right, my blue tea? Just from that was just from roughly looking at the sites. So it's a beautiful color, and once you win the packets, that takes you anywhere and everywhere. They're natural colors and they're beautiful to play with. So when I got my colors in, I started using them to mix and match. And like I said, you can actually turn that into using my blue tea. So the blue pea powder, you can actually turn that into a pink powder, or you can turn it into a complete purple powder, just adding other stuff to it. So yeah, definitely give it a go.
Okay, I was just advised that the 3 packs cost $49 and with a 20% discount if you order by the end of November during this promotion. Thank you, Lily, for your time, and it's a good show. Now I hand it over to May, who will give us, will be having some answers and questions and answers for you. So over to you, May.
Yep. Someone has asked what's the voltage of the microwave. I think Shirley they have answer in the chat room. It's about 700 watts, the one that in CAV. So Lily, is there any changes if my microwave at home is like 1000 watt or any?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it's 1000, you probably only need to do it for about 3 minutes. Okay, so you look at when you cook the dough, you take it out. It should be basically transparent. But so if it's transparent, then the dough is cooked. So if you've got a high voltage microwave, a strong microwave going, 3 minutes should do the job.
Okay, thank you. Someone also asked if we use food processor with the nuts, will the nuts be too fine, or how to make it chunky? Yeah.
So when I actually do that at home, I use the pulse button on my food processor. And again, when I did the workshop, I was mindful that not everybody may have a food processor, so I chopped it up. But if you've got a food processor, using the pulse buttons just to chop everything, you'll find that also the dry fruits, the sultanas and the cranberry, by pulsing it, actually it combines, it adds to the composition of the mixture. So yeah, I would definitely, if you've got a food processor, use it to help you blitz everything.
Okay, and someone asked how can they access the video. Nick actually say we have recorded the video, so we will put it up onto CAV website. So in the next few weeks, so everybody just check out the website, the recipe and the video will be there. And also, oh, where to get the mooncake mold? Everyone want to know.
Okay, so that's really important. Okay, so you most of them you can buy online. Okay, so through eBay, Amazon. So what you do is if you Google mooncake molds, I should really import them and start selling them myself, I reckon. But so if you Google it, the problem is with COVID, it's just a problem getting them through with COVID. But once this whole thing cools down a little bit, you know, I'm sure you'll probably get it within a couple of weeks. But yeah, Google it. There are loads and loads of different patterns. And what it is just be very mindful when you're ordering it. And I've made a mistake myself too. So some of the imprints, right, they do not come through because they're very shallow. So you've got to be, when you're looking at that, so you would want to buy something that that's quite of quality. When I say quality, price determination, you spend a bit more money to get them because you'll find that they are crafted better. And so what happened is I had some sent to me, different sets sent to me, and some of them when you press them through, press your mooncakes in, press them through, they will come out, but once they're baked, the imprint is gone because it's not deep enough. So you want to make sure when you're choosing, and it's hard when you're ordering online because you're not having not given that opportunity to look at them. But yeah, just be mindful. Look at the reviews. Maybe look at the reviews when you're ordering to see what people are saying about that particular brand or particular press.
Okay. The one that you use, is it from certain website or?
I need to go back, to be honest, because my other ones that I had, they weren't that good. That particular set that I used, I had to borrow and beg from a friend. She actually had to express post it to me.
Okay, all right.
From Melbourne, because she, I was not happy with the other ones that I had.
Okay.
So yeah, so just again, check it out before you buy them.
Okay, right. Thanks. The type of oil that you use, does it affect the taste?
Yes. So peanut oil, peanut oil gives the mooncake a lovely flavor. I would advise definitely not to use olive oil because olive oil will taint the mooncakes with the olive flavor. So you can use peanut oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil. But I just like that. I prefer the peanut oil over the others.
Okay, thank you. I think someone maybe say, what's the portion of dough to filling?
Okay, so what I've done was I found that in this particular pastry, because I had to build the pastries from scratch, I did 25 gram filling, 25 gram pastry, and that worked really well. Some people complain, they said, they prefer more pastry. So look, it's a matter of choice. It's a matter, once you start playing with it, you can determine what you prefer. Some people, if they only want the minimum pastry because they're going on a low carb diet, which is hard to do when you're eating mooncakes, but you can start playing with it. But the ones that I've made, it's all 25, and so the one lot of fillings there, that is enough to make enough mooncakes with the two types of pastries you've got.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and what is the powder used for the mold? I think someone missed the beginning part, maybe.
Okay, so the powder, so the dough is actually quite sticky. So when you're pressing it into the mold, it would stick to the mold if you don't dust it with powder. In the absence of powder, you can actually spray it with a bit of oil. So you've got that Teflon coated kind of situation where the dough is not going to stick to the mold, the press.
Okay. Also another question is the method used in different mold will be different, will be the same, because the wooden one and the one that you press, is it the same method?
So Yes, that day I got carried away with the pressing one. The manual one is slightly different. So what you do is with the manual one, I mean, we're talking about the block, the wooden block. You press your dough in really hard, and whilst you've got the dough inside the block, you're actually tapping the block on your bench. So instead of pressing the press on top, you are actually thumping the actual block onto your bench, so the mooncake sets into the mold. If that makes any sense. Is that making sense? Or should I perhaps get my mooncake mold just to show everybody here?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seconds, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make a bit of noise. I've got mine, and I'm going to just drop my camera a little bit. Okay, so what you do is once you roll your mooncake, okay, you pop it into your the actual mold, okay, press it down, press it in, and what you're going to do is you're going to tap it against your bench, sorry, really hard, so the actual mooncake will set into the imprints. That's what you try to do. It's really hard to get that in there, okay? And once it's done, you tip it over, and pour it out. Have we got that? Did we see that?
Yeah.
It's as simple as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay. Someone actually asked a question. I think they missed the first part, the beginning part. I said, do you cook the blue and green ones? Do I miss something at the beginning? Yeah, obviously they missed the green and the blue mooncakes. They say, do you cook them? Like, you know.
Okay, so what we did was with the green and the blue one, so you've got the recipe. If you look at the recipes, the snow skin recipe, you will see there it's basically a white dough, okay? And if you would like to use pandan, which we use my blue tea pandan powder, you can add about half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon to it, depending on how strong the flavor, how strong the color you would like. With the blue one, I use half a teaspoon of my the blue pea powder. You mix that into the flour, and then you mix your coconut milk in there. That's what I did with mine.
Okay, thank you. One, is there any blue tea special? Someone asked, the blue tea special includes free delivery over how much?
So $69. They spend over $69, they'll get the free delivery. It's definitely a really good deal. Now, this is one thing, and I've got a foodie group where a lot of my members are actually using this beautiful powders. You know, whether they're using it for cakes, for macarons, all sorts of stuff. You can actually make, because they're natural colors, when we're no longer having to use those food coloring. And yeah, take advantage of it. And when you get a set like that, it lasts you forever and a day, because you only need to use a little bit of it. And I'm learning more and more about my blue tea, where it's actually got a lot of health benefits to it. So that's something you can check into as well. You know, if you are buying the tea for yourself. Okay.
Also a question, is it rice bran oil? Is it okay to use?
Like I said, it doesn't really matter. Oil is oil. Just don't use olive oil, okay? Because I think we don't want to taint our mooncakes with olive oil. But apart from that, that's fine.
Okay. I think that is all. That's all the question. I haven't seen. Did I miss any? I don't think I missed any. Yeah.
Can I had a question that was asked of me. If we want to go vegan, can we eliminate sausages? Because I use Chinese sausage. So traditionally with these mooncakes, there is some sort of meat element in the nutty feeling one. So you've got a bit of savory in there, and we use Chinese ham. Now, for those who do not know me, I'm actually one where I cook with ingredients that I have in my fridge, in my pantry. I don't normally run out to buy extra stuff to make things. So I didn't have Chinese ham, and I was not going to go and buy some, but I had some Chinese sausage, so I used Chinese sausage. But if you're making it for a vegetarian version, you can leave these Chinese sausage out, but you might want to add a little bit of salt to give it that sweet and savory flavor. Okay, so mooncakes, a lot of the mooncakes is just sweet. It's so sweet, it's sickening. So I've actually, my dad and my brother and my sister-in-law, they are all diabetics. So often, you know, they can't have a lot of sweet stuff, and especially when it's once a year mooncake. My dad's got a sweet tooth, and Mum says we're not buying mooncake this year. When someone gave us mooncakes, Mum says, well, we're going to give it away because we can't let Dad have them. So I just started playing with a new recipe where I'm taking out all the sugar and using, you know, the goodness of the fruit, dry fruits and everything in there, but still having it. You still have to add a bit of syrup to it, but it's at a reduced level. So, yeah. Okay,
that's great. Yeah. So it's good to have a bit healthy version of the mooncake, right? You know? I still can enjoy the festive food. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
So if we're going to be naughty about it, we may as well have a nice version about it. Okay. I reckon that's what we should do. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So can we just quickly recap this? So if you are going to go on this mooncake journey to have some fun, please do so and have it submitted by what date, Shirley, did we mention?
2 weeks time.
So
the 8th of November.
So you've got to, if you're going to make your mooncakes, you've got to have them made, photographed, okay, hashtag CAV Mooncake Workshop or CAV Mooncake Festival 2020. You've got to make sure you hashtag. Perhaps we can ask Nicholas or you guys to put that on the site as well.
Yep.
And take a photograph of it. Unfortunately, we won't be able to judge them based on taste because it's virtual, but I think we are now opening it up to the first 8 people that submit their photograph to the competition. And so if you are one of the first 8, you will be an automatic winner to the gift pack. And we'd like to thank My Blue Tea for the generosity in sponsoring this event. Lots of people will have a lot of fun doing this, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So Lily, if someone has get into trouble, can they sort of like email you or something like that?
Absolutely. Look, I'm here for anybody and everybody. Normally you'll find that when you email me, often, you know, my emails, I don't check my emails until later, but if you've got an urgent question, you can actually message me on Facebook Messenger, because that's, I have a lot, I'm on there a lot simply because I have a lot of people contacting me. So it's quite instant. If you've got if you come into a problem, alternatively, you can actually call me. The only problem is if you do call me and I'm in class, I will not be able to answer you. But if there's a message there, often when my students are cutting, I always check my messages and I will respond to you. So yeah, you can actually Facebook me. You can actually find the Food Affectionist on Facebook. And you can actually message me there, or you can find Lily Jiang, add me to it, and then you can message me there. So I'm always there to help wherever I can.
All right.
And you can also send your message to CAV website and we'll pass it on to Lily.
Yeah, you can do that as well, absolutely. But before we go, can I please say something? Exco, CAV Exco, our president, our cameraman, our producer, thank you so much, Ivan, for doing all that background work. I'm really was very impressed with the video. Thank you for that. And Shirley, thank you for running around in the background, organizing this whole event as well. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's been a really fun journey for me. And May, thank you for all the question time. And of course, there's Nicholas in the background as well. emailing me late at night, getting information to do the write-up. So thank you, Nicholas, for your hard work as well. So yeah, it's I love. So can I just quickly say, CAV is kind of a family to me. My kids grew up there, and I've been there for a long time too. So yeah, it's right next to my home as well. So thank you, CAV, and Exco.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily and May. That's all the Q&A we have for Lily. Now, something very exciting. I think we've got a picture of the mooncakes that Lily made on the day. Our president, Iwan, will show you in just a moment. But I have a question to ask Iwan. Do you have something to show us, Iwan?
Yeah. So the benefit become the CAV president. So anybody else can become a CAV president. So someone just knocked on my door and look what Lily just sent to me. So this is not sure you can see.
Where is it?
So it is the fresh made by Lily. Just sent it to my door.
Oh, where?
Can you see
Very
it?
difficult. It's a bit difficult.
Where?
Here you go.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Those are the mooncakes made on the day. And,
yeah,
sent to-
so the benefit
deliver to-
become a CAV president. So after this, I can eat while you have to make it. So I can eat.
Thank you, Ivan. Okay. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed the cooking session. I'd like to thank Ramona and Lily and all of you today for joining us. Hope you have an enjoyable afternoon. If you'd like to know more about the Chinese Association of Victoria, please log into our website at www.cavinc.com.au. Of course, as Nick mentioned earlier, the video of the recording of the whole session will be loaded onto our website and you can download from there. So thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
bye.